Founded in 2014, the Extraordinary Achievers vision is to empower others to be the best version of themselves. The show is hosted by Chief Lady Waynette Peters, a multi-entrepreneur, empowerment speaker, confidence mentor, positive lifestyle coach, humanitarian ambassador, and a TV host. Lady Waynette is a holder of over 35 international awards for her humanitarian, philanthropic, and international empowerment contributions and holds 2 chieftaincy titles. Welcome to the Extraordinary Achievers Show.
Welcome to another episode of the Extraordinary Achievers Show. We would like to welcome our various Facebook platform audience, YouTube viewers, those watching us from Twitter, Meetup, and LinkedIn. And from all the platforms you're watching us from, we say thank you for joining us today. I'm Lady Waynette Peters, the founder and the CEO of the Extraordinary Achievers. Our mission is to develop people's mindset and belief through effective and regular capacity building, life lessons, and encouragement to move on from where they are in their lives to where they're destined to be. In the month of January, we looked at our mind well-being. In February, we looked at relationships and love. We had the hot, juicy topic, friends with benefits. We had let's get your groove back and how to spice up your relationship. And now we move on to the next level. We've addressed some of the 2 main things that influence our lives. So now we are going to look at progressing our lives. We've talked about the mind and we have let go of everything in the past. We've talked about love and relationships. We've talked about self-love. And today we're talking about the magic word, success. Whew. And we are excited. So we are going to be looking at tonight at the keys to success and the principles of success. We understand that unsuccessful people work hard. However, successful people do not just work hard, they work differently. Joining us on this evening on the Extraordinary Achievers Show is the amazing coach Brenda Dempsey of Book Brilliance and Publishing, and the renowned world leaders coach Mr. Charles Kieran. I'd like to introduce our first guest, but I am not going to bring her on the screen just as yet. I'm going to play this video that we've made for her. Coach Brenda, the founder and CEO of Book Brilliance Publishing, is live in the studio today, and we welcome her on the Extraordinary Achievers. Brenda is a thriver, an action woman, and a spirited leader. From a young age, at the age of 10, Brenda took action for starving children in Biafra, raising money and vowing she would one day visit Africa and build a school. Her strength, self-belief, and resilience were her armor. When she found herself homeless with 4 children after her abusive marriage, she broke down. Brenda's grit, determination, and vision of a better life for herself and family were the staying power that she needed to complete her BEd honors degree during the audacious time to fulfill her childhood dream of becoming a teacher. Devoted to her career, Brenda once again found herself at a pivotal moment in her life when she lost both her parents, great-nephew, and a nephew. Within 18 months, she found her courage and moved everything to a new beginning in Surrey from Scotland. Transitioning in something, Brenda embraces it as it opens new opportunities, challenges, adventures, revealing spirited leadership, qualities of courage, resilience, and vision. After 25 years, she left her beloved teaching to take up the challenge of building an I Can revolution of 10 million spirited leaders who are raising their voices of courage, impacting change, and creating extraordinary results for themselves, others, and the world through imagination, innovation, and influence. There's no stopping her, Brenda. She's a diamond woman. During COVID-19, with a wealth of experience and expertise in writing and books, she created her new business book, Brilliance Publishing, a publisher with a difference for writers, speakers, and entrepreneurs. A partnership publishing house that puts its authors at the heart so they can partner their way to success. Business brilliance on a global stage where you drive to navigate. Isn't that just amazing? And isn't that just so empowering to know that Brenda has been through so much and today she is there changing others' lives. And today, Brenda, we would like to say, welcome on the Extraordinary Achievers Show.
Thank you very much. It's quite hard listening to all of that and thinking, was that my life? Is that my life? And am I really here? So thank you for that wonderful and beautiful introduction. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And we're just going to acknowledge some viewers at home. Hello, viewers at home, and welcome to the Extraordinary Achievers Show. We recognize and we see you. You're back again today. And for any new viewers, we say thank you and welcome onto the Extraordinary Achievers. Bangi says, good to be here. Good to have you back. Kelsey says, good evening. And good evening, Kelsey. Tivona Brown, love you, baby. Good evening. Vicky Garvey, who is an amazing member and part of the Extraordinary Achievers, says, hi, Lady Wynette Peters, and you're looking so beautiful as always. I love to hear about successful growth and stories. And we love you, Vicky. And thank you for the compliment. I truly give God all the glory. DG says, good evening, everyone, and good evening to you. Vicky says, go, go, Brenda. You're an amazing lady. Your fan is on the line. And Empress Joella says, good evening, beautiful people, and good evening, Empress. Good evening to all of you. We welcome you onto the Extraordinary Achievers, and we are asking you to please share, because there's some amazing nuggets you're going to hear about today, and others need to hear about it too. So we're talking about the keys to success and the principles of success. Brenda, our first question for you today is, can you tell us briefly about Brilliance Publishing House?
Yes. So out of lockdown has come so much opportunity. And, my main business was coaching, but I had been a writer and a best-selling author and helping other women become a writer. And the opportunity came around May 2020 when I was approached by many people to help them write books and then asked me to publish it. And fortune have it with COVID 19 that it presented the opportunity for me to say yes. So as you know, I'm just a risk taker, and when an opportunity comes, I just grab it with both hands and let go. And in the space of 8 months, I've gone from myself to 3 people, to 4 people, to 5 people. And today I've taken on another young woman who's just completed her English honours degree, and she's joining Book Brilliance Publishing. So it's just an absolute privilege to be in this spot, but it's definitely down to structure, strategy, and systems.
Thank you. Your favorite word, the 3 S's. Yeah. So, Brenda, as you talk about success and you talk about strategy, systems, and strategy in leadership and business, can you please share the importance of these 3 S's?
It's very important. And, when you asked me to come on and talk about it, I was jumping up and down for joy because I talk about it all of the time. And I have to say that it's attributed to having been a leader in education and ran a school, part of SEN, with like 500 children and running a team. And without structure and without the systems and the strategy, your school is just going to flop. So when you have structure and strategy, you can then allow growth and allow your staff to be proactive. So when everybody knows what the structure is, what the roles are, who's responsible, and what systems you've got in place, then they become oiled, and then everything becomes smooth, and it improves effectiveness and efficiency. So therefore, in the whole life of a school year, you have so many things to ensure that is within it, that without all of that it wouldn't happen. And the strategy just helps you achieve excellence, because it's how you're doing it. You're looking at what is the standards, what does outstanding look like, and then once you know these, you can use the appropriate strategies. So I've taken all of that knowledge and all of that skill and all of that leadership, and I'm applying it to Book Brilliance. Hence we've grown so much inside 8 months, and I cannot wait to see where we are at the end of December. What year we're on, 2021, because it's thanks to that, driven with determination, driven with a vision, and having goals, that allows us to achieve successfully with ease and grace. And that's what it's about. I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be worried about anything. But when you employ strategies that work, that are proven, then you can have all the success you like. And for me, success, sometimes it's the little things on a daily basis. It's the feeling that you get. So there's many things that mean success.
Brenda, thank you. As you say, there are many aspects for us to get to that fullness of that success. We have to ensure that the structure is in place, the systems to work the structure, and that we have a strategy. We don't just wake up any morning and say we're going to wing it today. We need to build that foundation and that structure. We need to have the systems in place to ensure that our strategy that we have and we've put together is going to work. Thank you for that. If you've just joined us, welcome to Extraordinary Achievers Show. We've just been hearing from Brenda from Book Brilliance Publishing, and she joins us tonight on the Extraordinary Achievers. In each month, we randomly pick a number from our subscribers and we give away amazing free giveaways and prizes. So please subscribe to our newsletter, our website. Stay in touch and tuned in by subscribing to our Facebook page and our YouTube page. The links are going to be placed in the comments below. We would like to welcome our next guest with a video of Mr. Charles Kieran. Coach Charles Ajayi Kieran, an inspirational speaker, a corporate trainer, and an executive coach. One of the most amazing people that I have met in my time. We welcome you today on the Extraordinary Achievers.
Delighted to be here, Winnet. You're looking absolutely fantastic.
I thank you so much, Coach Charles, and I am grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you. We know that we are honored to have you because you are a very important man in your own rights. You've coached world leaders across individuals at all different levels in life, and yet you remain so humble, and we're honored to have you. Thank you. To
Amen.
our viewers,
Thank you.
To our viewers, I'd like to let you know that Coach Charles has a reputation as an electrifying, inspirational leadership speaker. He is recognized as an authority in the areas of leadership, entrepreneurship, and empowerment. Charles not only speaks to his audiences in a warm feeling, but rather he speaks to transform the audience. I have been a part of many of his audiences, and I've witnessed long after the event that his audiences are still reeling from the impact of his words, which inspire them to a massive action. And today we welcome him to share some of the nuggets, his wisdom and experience. Coach Charles, how does our DNA stop us from being successful? Does our DNA stop us from being successful?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Is this my cue? Is there more questions? Or
No, we often hear some saying that because of their DNA, because of their color, because of their gender, because of something contributing to the DNA, they often say that it stops them from being successful. In your experience, has your DNA stopped you from being successful? Where you come from, where your parents come from, where you originated from?
well, absolutely not. We have all heard of those wonderful excuses, and that's exactly what they are. You know, God never created a counterfeit. That's number one. And God never created a failure. Clearly, you may have challenges and obstacles thrown in front of you, but you will need to understand precisely what you need to do as a human being to overcome a lot of these obstacles that have been thrown in front of you. As a matter of fact, those obstacles for the determined enables you to develop your achievement muscles. So the DNA doesn't play any role in your success. You do, all right, by the decisions you make. Somebody once said that a decision is you determining to cross out every other alternative and focus exclusively on the one that you want. So I do not believe DNA has anything to do with you becoming all you were destined or are destined to be.
Thank you for that response. We appreciate that. It's a question that's often asked whether our DNA stops us. I often say that in my case, I worked for Kellogg's Brown and Root. I worked for Enron. And as we had the discussion before, and I said I was young, I'm a female, and I'm Black. And yet I excelled in those positions extremely well. Not to say that our DNA does not affect some other individuals as they see it, but in my experience, that has been my experience. And thank you for sharing your experience. Coach Charles, what defines the levels of success and what should success look like?
Well, I think the first thing that is critically important here, if you are going to go after what we call success, because you have to first determine what you mean by success. In our culture today, I think when people hear the word success, they instantly think about financial or monetary success. But that is not the only definition of success. So the first thing that we need to establish here is what success really is. And the good news is that you, the individual, are responsible for defining what success really means. Somebody once said success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. So for a mother who is home and not working and whose focus, overriding focus, is raising children to excel in school, in college, in the educational system, and she achieves that, that mother is successful, okay? Or for a student who wants to come out with the best results from university or from their A levels, that is a successful person. So it is progressive. It is the realizing of those progressive goals that makes you successful. Now, in business, of course, you then need to set what success looks like to you in business. As somebody once said, Mark Twain, he said, I cannot find somebody to tell me what they really want because I can show them how to win. The trouble I have is I can't find anyone to tell me what they really want. So the first thing we need to do is to define what it is we really want with clarity. Because the first expression of the human spirit is the desire to express itself. We are born with indwelling dreams we are all carrying within us. We have to give voice and expression to those dreams. But there are steps you'll have to take to begin realizing those dreams or those ambitions. So success comes without question with a lot of discipline. The first, without question, is knowing what you want. That's number one. All right. Now, you could call that a vision. That's another story, but it could be a vision, it could be a dream, but crystallized idea of what you want. And believe it or not, is not as easy as it sounds. It is tough to really define with clarity what it is that you really want. That's desire. When you've done that, then we then have other processes that must kick in for you to realize those desires.
Thank you. We have just had a snippet of what defines a levels of success and what you should look out for. If you have just joined us on the Extraordinary Achievers, we would like to welcome you. We are listening to Coach Charles Kieran, an amazing coach who has managed to coach executives, world leaders, you and I, and he joins us today on the Extraordinary Achievers. We would like to acknowledge some of our viewers, and we would like to say hello to Monty and a hello to Joanne. We see you, and we have some comments that we have. So we would like to take a moment to read those comments. Joanne says, success is something that you have to define for yourself, and no one can do it for you. Success could mean a sense of giving back to the world and making a difference. It could mean a sense of accomplishment and a career progression. It could mean being able to do the things you love. We welcome your comments in every week and we appreciate them. My very own niece and daughter, Vita Kaki. Dr. Vita says hello there, and hello there from Dallas, Texas. And we have Bami Collie Roberts that says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. And we have Pastor Josephine Kamara, and she says, blessings to you all. And thank you. She said, I'm super excited to be here. We're super excited to have you on the show. We have podcaster Norma Ellis, and she says, focus, focus, focus. If you're going to be successful, focus. Thank you. We have Anthony Everest, Amarim composer. He says, great show. And we know we love your golden voice. And thank you for joining us. We have Empress Joanne again says, you're right, sir. And that is to Coach Charles. Each individual defines what success means to them. We have Coach Sandra GM Jarvis, good evening to you and welcome on the Extraordinary Achievers Show. It is lovely to hear you today. And we have Angela. Angela says, giving back and making a difference. We thank you for your comment. We would like to urge you and ask you to please share. We have some amazing nuggets that we're going to hear from our speakers today. So we're encouraging you to share with others. And if you have just joined us, welcome to the Extraordinary Achievers. We are going to go back to Brenda, the founder and CEO of Brilliance Publishing House. And we have our next question for her. Hi, Brenda.
Hello.
Welcome back again. And once again, thank you for taking time out and joining us today. We'd like to ask you, how do we measure success?
Well, picking up on what Coach Charles was saying, it's the little things, and I mentioned it earlier. How do we measure it? Well, how do you measure happiness? Again, it's going back to everything is around the individual, and you can measure your success in one of the sort of main ways is like if you set your goal. We talked about visions, and that's another story. I agree. But if you set goals, it could be a daily goal. I have this rule. I live by the rule of three. So one of the things I say is that, pick three things that you want to achieve in any one day. Now, that could be even changing your sheets on the bed. It could be something to do with your business, whatever it is for you. But pick three things and then eat the frog first. Do the one that you dislike most first. And when you put the focus in, someone's mentioned focus, when you focus, set that little goal, focus, complete the task. That's one way of measuring success. You've set out to, I don't know, let's just say make a cup of tea, and you make the cup of tea, tick, celebrate, happy dance as you sip your tea. It could be something to do with your business. You might set a goal of, I want to get 3 new authors this week. So you do lots of marketing, you do lots of talking, you do lots of what you love. That's key. Enjoy the process, and that will bring you success when you sign up 3 new authors. It could just be something simple as feeling happy. Success for me is feeling. It's something that's measurable because we've got SMART goals, that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic in times. So we've got lots of tools and techniques out there in which we can measure tangible goals, but not all goals are tangible. It might be just to feel less sad, feel happier one day. It might be to have an act of kindness. So success can be an act of kindness. I've heard making a difference. That's what I talk about all the time. I'm a woman on a mission to make a difference in the world, to give back on a daily basis. If I make one person smile in a day, that's been worth it for me. So success is many things depending on your starting point, where you're going, what your desires are in your life, what your intentions are. And when you can define that and you have the clarity around that, because you need clarity if you're a diamond, when you have a clarity around that, no matter the size of the goal, then we can measure that success. We can feel happier. And, that's what's most important. So it could be a feeling. It could be a change of mindset. It could be a goal that's measurable, that's part of a SMART target in your business, in your life. But whatever it is, as long as you can breathe and feel better and know I've done well today, then what is there greater than that form of success? It's in many, many forms.
And very well said. What I picked up from that is if you can still enjoy what you're doing, when you're looking back and saying, yes, I've done that, I can smile and I can make someone else smile, that is success. Because you can wake up and say, that's my sweat, and I am going to wake up to sweat some more. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I must say, every time I converse with you, you always make me smile. So I know you're living in the path of success. That's for certain. So, Brenda, what stops someone from being successful? What is the hindrance from success? What is that thing that says to someone you can't be successful in their mind? Or what is it that stops them from being successful?
Well, there's many things that stop people from being successful. It's mindset's definitely a big part on it. The mind chatter that we have, the way that we talk to ourselves, the language that we use can really get in the way of our success. Also, our limiting beliefs, what we believe to be true. We listen too much to the stories outside of us instead of quieting our mind and learning how to listen to the voice inside, because the voice inside, and I'm not talking about the voice inside your head, that soul voice that's deep within us, that intuition, that gut feeling, So it can come as a feeling, it can come as a sound, it can come in words, it can come in color, it can come in many ways. But when we close our minds down to possibilities, then we are just limiting ourselves to the amount of success and happiness that we can enjoy in our life. So mindset, limiting beliefs, believing that we're not worthy, our self-esteem, not valuing ourselves based on some possible trauma that you've been through, some childhood experience. Maybe it's been rejection. Maybe you do not like to hear the word no, and I spoke about this today. Embrace the word no, because you need to build resilience, and rejection helps you to build resilience. Falling down helps you to build resilience. Just think of a baby. I've got a 1-year-old granddaughter who's just learned to walk, and every time she falls down, she doesn't go, I'm not getting back up again, ouch, I've fallen on that toy. She just gets back up with joy and laughter, because like Coach Charles said, it's having the goal, and she wants to get from A to B, and she's found her feet. So when you, going back to goal setting, when you have something that you want and it's coming from the depth of you, and you are clear on that, and you want to have the focus and take small steps, it's like eating the elephant one step at a time. You know, be kind to yourself along the way to success as well. Be kind. You know, it's okay to fail. It's okay not to feel like doing something in any one day, but we just don't stay there. We have that determination and that drive to achieve what it is that we desire. As I say, it could be making somebody smile. It can be anything we want, anything we choose, because it is an absolute choice. I agree with Coach Charles on that. We make the choice. We can choose to be sad, or we can choose to be happy, because that's what happened to me. I chose to have my degree. I chose a better life after being in an abusive relationship for 16 years, being homeless with 4 children, whilst looking after 2 ill parents, my mother in a wheelchair. I could have crumbled and lay down, but no, I wanted a better life. That was more important. So I found a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, they say, and that's very true. I found a way with great grit and determination to achieve, to ask, to use the support that was around me. Even people that I didn't know that well, they offered because they knew I was on a mission. Share your mission. People will help you. You know, so these are the things that we're afraid of, and it all goes back to rejection. It all goes back to feeling rejected and not wanted, and we're not good enough. But when you connect inside and you realize that you are good enough, you're more than good enough within yourself, and that you've got that power, when that little flicker of light starts to glow and you feed it and you nourish it, then you grow in strength. Because you mentioned the I Can revolution, and I'm definitely about the I Can mindset. Because if you decide that you can do something, boy, oh boy, you can achieve it.
Amazing. We have to get rid of our self-limiting beliefs. And when you mention that even we can learn from a baby, that the baby, your grandchild dropped, got back up again, smiled, and started to walk again. And we see that happening from a 1-year-old, and we see it in our lives. Now, there's sometimes we're going to fail, but we still have to get up, and we have to dust ourselves off, and we have to continue. Brenda, we will be back with you in a moment. We are going to address some comments from our viewers. And thank you. We would like to say welcome to the Extraordinary Achievers. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your input. We appreciate you. Thank you for sharing this live program. And thank you for addressing some of the comments. So we are going to look at some comments. Bangi says, being successful means the achievement of desired visions, dreams, and planned goals. Monty says, you are wrong. Racism has to do with how well one does. You can put 100% effort and still not be successful because race and color hold you back. I agree with you, and many will also agree with you, Master Mo, that sometimes color can hold back. And I think we find it even with other nations and people from different places. Color can sometimes, or where you come from, can sometimes hold you back. But we also have to agree, just like you, Master Mo, you have achieved so much. You have been a martial arts world expert, and you have so many belts, trophies, and is that you had from being a world leader martial arts expert, and color hasn't held you back. And why hasn't he held you back? Because you have continued to drive, and you've continued to do something, and you've continued to excel yourself. So you are a true example of a real champion, and we thank you and we love you, Master Mo. Let's see some of the other comments that we have. We have Chief David Idiabana, and we'd like to say welcome on the Extraordinary Achievers show this evening. And Chief David says, I do agree with Charles, but success is progressive as defined by the individual, family, community, government, etc. And it certainly is progressive as you set and achieve different milestones. Thank you for your input. Bangi says, Coach Brenda, I so agree with you on setting up goals and achieving the set goals. Thank you. We have another comment coming from Empress Joanne says, many of us chase career titles, money, or social status, and yet we don't feel successful when we get these things. That's because you can only measure success in your own life when you define what drives your happiness and helps you to find your purpose. Bangi says successful is something that you have to define for yourself, and no one can do it for you. Vicky says sweat and sparkle is the best feeling ever. Cheerleading you all on, and thank you. Angela says rejection to a new direction always. And we have another comment from Becky, and we would like to welcome Mrs. Becky Olodo, an amazing community advocate. And she says, well done, sis, you're doing a great job, and we love you. I'm learning from you, the master of the community. We thank you. I'd like to acknowledge a friend of mine I've seen, Bev Henry. I'd like to say hello. It's been a long time, and I missed you. I'm looking forward to the end of lockdown so we can catch up on some of your seafood. I miss it so much. I'd like to say thank you so much to everyone that's watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. And most of all, thank you for making a difference by sharing this video to others. We are going to go back to Coach Charles, and we are going to hear some more of his nuggets and his wisdom. Coach Charles, we welcome you back on again. Coach Charles, we
Thank
would
you
like
very
to
much.
ask you the question, what does it take to be successful?
Awesome. Well, I've just seen some of those comments just now. I think part of that is a particular way of looking at things. But let me say this, the few who do are always the envy of the many who only watch. The few who do are always the envy of the many who only watch. The great Hutger Hunt, who was a cotton farmer, died worth over $4 billion in the 70s. He was interviewed by a journalist asking how come he became so very successful. He said two things, son. He said the first thing I had to do was to determine exactly what it is or what it was that I wanted. He says, and then number two, which most people do not do or get that far. He said, number two, I had to determine the price that I was going to have to pay to get it. The immortal J.C. Penney, who set up the J.C. Penney stores all over the U.S., in the early 1900s, here's what he said, which is very instructive. He said, give me a store clerk without a dream, and I'll give back to you a store clerk. He said, but if you give me a store clerk who has a dream, I will show you somebody who will create history. Why? Well, this is what happens. When you begin working as a store clerk and you determine that you have a greater life, a greater world ahead of you, you make that determination. You do not sit static or stand static. You go in pursuit of that crystallized vision or goal, as Brenda said, that you are seeking or that you're after. What begins to happen? You ask yourself, the way I communicate, is that going to sabotage my success or getting me as far as I would like to go? Is my accent, depending on what you want to do, is my accent an issue for me? Is the way I present myself aesthetically, is that an issue? Is that going to sabotage my success? Is the fact that I don't have sufficient knowledge in the area I'm looking to venture into, is that going to be a stumbling block for me? Now, you need to identify and ask those questions. And when you have the answers, you go to work. If you need to take an extra course, if you have to join Toastmasters International to know how to speak, all right, which is very inexpensive, if you need to find a coach or a mentor to show you how to present yourself, comport yourself, how to communicate, because you are the one who wants the success. You are the one that needs to determine the price you're going to have to pay. Who are the groups you need to talk to? Who are the friends you need to, scripture says in the multitude of wise counselors, there is safety. So in the midst of wise people, you will find safety, you will find counsel, you'll find advice who will point you in the right direction. You see, when we start using words like because of my color, you disempower yourself, number one. Number two, you give back authority and power to other people. What you need to do is you go in your closet, lay your hands on your head, man or woman, and declare that you are an emperor, you are an empress, a king or a queen. Decide. Before you go into the world and other people tell you who you are, you determine yourself who you are. Once you've done that, go into the wide world and the world will begin to beat a path to your door or open up opportunities for you. I'm black. Do you know something interesting? I have never gone around thinking I'm black. I absolutely think I am amazing. I'm one of God's greatest creation. I love every color in the world, every race, I love people. And you know what's interesting? I've been on some of the greatest stages, some of the greatest companies who've invited me in. From royalty in the Middle East, where I've been coached to royal princesses. I've been hosting presidents and prime ministers. I have been all over the different parts of the world that I've traveled to. Guess who've been inviting me? The majority are not black people. So a lot has to do with how good you are at executing your craft, your level of knowledge, and how well you can assist and help people. So I've kind of combined into this short answers I've given a lot of the issues or questions so many people have been asking. This program, we can't do it a lot of justice. We just want to point people gently in the various directions.
Paul Charles, we thank you so much for that. And that, once again, was a snippet of nugget that said 1,000,001 words. We have another question for you. What advice would you give us on how we can become better versions of ourselves?
Amen to that. One of my most amazing questions. Let me say this. Samsung was a little known company. In the old days, all we heard about was Panasonic, Sony, Sanyo, Kenwood, and the rest. Where did Samsung come from? Well, 10 years ago, if you saw a Samsung phone, it was not very attractive. You had all the key players in the marketplace, you know, RIM, RIM, I forgot the main name that we all had to carry, and a lot of the other exciting Sony Ericsson and the other exciting phones. Where did Samsung come from? Constant and never-ending improvement. Continuous and never-ending improvement. They said, this is our best offer 10 years ago. This is Samsung. This is what we can present to you. This is our best effort. But here's what I promise you. Here's what we promise you. If you saw us in 2 years' time, we promise to give you a superior version of this thing in your hand. And in another 2 years' time, we promise to give you another phone that is all singing and all dancing. The same dynamic is at play when it comes to humans. You can't remain the way you were 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago. You can't stay the same. You have to constantly focus on how to evolve, how to become the best version of you. Not the best version of somebody else, the best version of you. You have to constantly focus on how to release potential. Potential essentially is the untapped abilities within you, the underutilized capabilities within you, reserved power, what is in you that requires further expression. What is in there lurking that needs to come out? That's potential. And guess what's going to help bring out the potential? Two things in my experience. The first is pressure. When your back is against the wall, you have no option but to come back out fighting. That's number one. The second thing that'll help you release potential is work. Not necessarily your job, but work. Because work is focused on helping you become creative, helping you to see things from new dimensions, helping you to evolve to a better you every day. That's what God really thinks of when he talks about work. All right? Work releases potential. In my experience, one of the things I had to focus on is a word known as diligence. It's an old word. It's a word from antiquity. Diligence essentially is conscientiousness. Diligence is thoroughness. Diligence is meticulousness. Essentially, what diligence is talking about is purity of work. How do you do your work to the highest possible levels you are able to do it? Pure work. That's what diligence is. So it's a combination of excellence, it's a combination of smart work, it's a combination of hard work. When you see a diligent person, the world makes a way for them, irrelevant of their color, irrelevant of their color, from where they've come from, their orientation. All the world is looking for is their gift, is their gift, is their knowledge, is their talent, is their skill. That's what the world wants to buy. And you learning how to present that gift, those talents, to the world in a way where it is received and accepted, whether it's through your diction, whether it's through your presentation, whether it's through your smell, as in your cologne, your aftershave. What makes you attractive so they can receive you, so you can give them your gifts? There's a lot involved, not just so straightforward. Lovely, Wynette.
And we still appreciate every single word because we've tucked it in. And if you're watching at home and you haven't shared this, you are doing a great injustice to someone out there that needs to hear this. Empower someone else and share this live video. It'll be available on replay. It's available on YouTube. It's available on Twitter. It's available on LinkedIn. It's available on on Meetup and various Facebook platforms. And we thank you. And Coach Charles, what is it that you'd like to tell our viewers, and you'd like our viewers to remember? If there's two things maybe you would like our viewers to always take into account where success is concerned.
Okay. The legendary Dr. Martin Luther King. Oh, man. Here's what he said. Some of you may be familiar with this quote. He said, if you've been called to be a street sweeper, to do something as lowly as sweeping the streets, he said, you must sweep streets, even as Beethoven played music. You must sweep streets, even as Shakespeare wrote poetry. You must sweep streets, even as Michelangelo painted. He said, you must sweep streets so great that all the hosts of heaven will rise up and declare there lives a great street sweeper who did his or her job well. What I love about that quote are the paragons of hope he chose to use as his examples. Shakespeare, over 400 years, literary genius, unsurpassed till this very day. Michelangelo, who gave us some amazing works, the Sistine Chapel, the Statue of the David, so many amazing works. Beethoven, deaf, dumb, right? Who wrote some of the most enchanting symphonies, the 9th, the 7th, the 5th. He said, whatever you've been called to do, he says, try and do it like these people did theirs, that posterity has recorded them, that history is still talking about them. He said, no matter how lowly that job is, try to do it like those people did their own job. That's number one. The second, very, very quickly, I want to give to you is persistence. If you're going to win, you have to have staying power. You have to learn how to spar with obstacles without embracing obstacles. Staying power. Somebody said once that nothing, no thing in the world can take the place of persistence. He says talent will not. He said education will not. He says the world is full of educated derelicts. He said even genius cannot take the place of persistence. He said unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. He said persistence, as in determination and perseverance alone, is omnipotent. When you study that word omnipotent, it means God within. When you are operating in persistence, you are demonstrating God-like powers. If you will be persistent in what you're chasing, what you are looking after, or going after, if you stay persistent, if you back it up with diligence, just as the amazing Martin Luther King said, you are going to be unstoppable. So that's the few things I have to say regarding that. Wynette.
Coach Charles, thank you so much. And once again, we are humbled to have you on the Extraordinary Achievers. I almost feel like I have been in the presence of the royals in Qatar. If this is the wisdom that you are giving them, and today you are sharing this wisdom with us, we are truly grateful. And we will be back to thank you one more time. We are going to go over to Coach Brenda. Coach Brenda, what an honor it is to have your very humble, loving self with us today. As I was saying earlier, that every time I have the opportunity and advantage of having a 5-minute chat with you, I feel uplifted. I feel new. I feel whole. I feel like I can do absolutely anything that I put my mind to do. Please give our viewers some advice, and your personal advice to them, anything you'd like to share with our viewers.
Well, what I'd just like to say, ditto to what Coach Charles said. That is absolutely exquisite. And when he was talking about diligence, it just reminded me of Napoleon Hill and the 20 years it took him to work out what success was. 20 years, just like Edison took 10,000 attempts to make the light bulb. So persistence is something knowing within you, something that's deep. So for me, where I start when I work with anybody on no matter what it is, whether it's in their business, it's in their life, whatever, I start with value. Because once you start that inner journey and go down to the core of who you are, that soul, and find out what is value to you in your life, and you know those values, then every decision you make, every action you take, every word you say is based on those. So, for the example, my number one value is integrity. So, therefore, who am I when no one's watching? And that's a very famous saying. Who are you when no one's watching? Well, I'm Brenda Dempsey, doing the best I can, whether I'm washing my dishes, sweeping my floor, or creating a plan to grow my business. I will give the best of me at every turn. And that's all you can ever ask of anyone. As a teacher in the classroom, all I could ask of the children was to give their best. Of my team, all I can ask of them is to give my best. And the best is what you've got at any one time with the situation that you find yourself in. So my best 30, 20 years ago when I was homeless was, yes, it was pure and it was filled with perseverance and determination. But I had less knowledge and skills and expertise and wisdom. But I will give my best to the utmost. And that's all you can ask. The other thing that's most important is just enjoy every moment. I'm a lover of life, a lover of people. And because I allow that inner child to come out like this small child, the toddler, who just loves life, who's curious, who takes risk, who doesn't care what people think or say. They just have fun and they enjoy it. We are that person, but we have just put so much on top, the pressure. But when you use your value to break through all those layers that have been put on you, either by yourself or outside influences, then you can start to enjoy and love, and even in boring clerical tasks. I just love everything that I do. And hence, when you find yourself in that position, you end up being quite good at a lot of things. And but then find the one thing that you can be master at. And for me, my mastery is making people feel better. And why do I know that? Because it's echoed and reflected back at me, just like Lady Winette said at the top of this portion of me speaking. So I've accepted that my mission in life, my purpose in life, that came up very important, is to make people feel better, to achieve more, to be more, to accept themselves for who they are, to connect within and just love themselves, love life, and embrace everything that comes, even the darkness, because it's out of the darkness that we grow. The further you fall, the darker you come, the higher you will rise, because you've got something to bounce on. You've got the bounce back ability of resilience. So important to embrace that darkness. And then as you rise, what has it taught me? What is the learning? We are lifelong learners. We want to be better and better and better every day, better at presenting, better at doing our work, better at our relationship within our families, better at loving ourselves. And that's a hard one, because once upon a time, not too long ago, I didn't love myself because I felt I'd let everybody down. But remember, love yourself first, because when your love cup's full, you can give and give and give.
Amazing. Love yourself first and be a better version of yourself tomorrow. We thank you so much for that. And viewers at home, I hope you have enjoyed our two guests today, as much as I've delighted in hearing some nuggets, wisdom, and the experience. My personal advice today is that totally refuse to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Most people tend to find comfort in their uncomfortable situation and call it a place of comfort. And you hear them say, I am okay. When you are fed up of that place of comfort and you want and need more, it's time to seek greater heights of success. There's a citation by Colin Powell that says, there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. There's a quotation by John D. Rockefeller Jr. that reads, the secret of success is to do the common thing uncommonly well. Do that common thing, but do it uncommonly well. There's a quotation by Chris Grosser that says, opportunities don't just happen. You have to create them. Thomas Jefferson said, I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. In Philippians 4, verse 13, it says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Extraordinary Achievers. We encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter, our website. Stay in touch and tuned by subscribing to our Facebook, the Extraordinary Achievers page, and our YouTube channel. The links will be found in the comment below. I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to our show advocate, Vicky Gavi, who sends so many different places and on social media. She shares this program before it happens and circulates it from the minute she chases me up and say, I want to be the first one to have the videos, and I'm sending them out. We'd like to say thank you for your love. Your love is so much appreciated. In which each week I have great joy when I see some WhatsApp statuses of family, friends, associates, Facebook reshares from our supporters, community advocates, friends, and family. I would like to personally say, on behalf of the Extraordinary Achievers team, thank you. We would like to thank our show coordinator, Darren Samuel Moses, from We Fix It Media, Mr. Robinson himself, our background operators, Prince Jordan and Princess Kay, our show coordinators, Melissa and Ms. Heather. We would like to say thank you for continually helping us to make this show better in each week. And I'd like to welcome our guests back on the screens so that we can say thank you to them. And we would like to say a thank you to you, Coach Brenda, and we'd like to say thank you to you, Coach Charles. Thank you so much. We are just going to read a few comments before you go from our viewers. Let's see some of the comments come up on our screen. Kelsey says, tonight's show was music to my ears. Amazing guest tonight. And of course, you, Miss Waynette Peters, and I love you, baby doll. And Angela says, thank you so much, everyone. I'm so grateful. Amazing session. And we have Christine says, a fantastic show, and thank you to you. And we have Amarim says, life is a window view of perspective, and we agree with you. Vicky says, empowering show, this and loving the coaches, always full of enlightenment and positive success stories, and we love you. Louisa says, Coach Brenda, I love your energy. And Louisa, I love you, we love you, and thank you. And Joella says, powerful session, and so are you a powerful woman. We thank you for that. And Batman says, I hear you, Sir Charles, thank you. And we have our next. There we go. We have Simon C. Brown says, another amazing show again. And thank you to Simon. Bangi says, feeling the tingle of excitement about what you do and moving forward. Alison Cross Jones, another community advocate, says, fantastic tonight. And thank you to you, Alison, and thank you for your support. Chief David says, well done. It was an inspiring presentation by the guest. Bravo, and thank you to you. Thank you so much. And Melissa says, you never fail to amaze us, and we thank you so much for your input. We would like to say thank you for every comment. Thank you for every share. When I looked earlier, we were on over 140 shares on Facebook. So we are grateful. And if you're watching us from YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, or any other platform, please do make sure that you also share with others too. We would like to say thank you, and we look forward to welcoming you back every Wednesday at 8 p.m. live again on all the platforms I mentioned before. Next week, we will continue on the path of self-development, progress, and success, where we bring you some other coaches to amaze you and wow you. We would like to say thank you to our guests today, and we thank them for their time, and we thank them for their expertise. And a show wouldn't be there without you. So we would like to say thank you so much. We would also like to acknowledge our coach that we had last week on the relationship show, Lisa. And we have a video of Lisa that was there last week. And we would like to remind you who Coach Lisa is, a relationship coach. Because in the comment box below, we have a discount code for you to get any coaching sessions from her. So we will remind you of who Lisa is now. So look out for discount code. She's offering a more percentage and a discount for you to get coached by her on the matters of a relationship. We would like to say one more time, thank you for watching, and see you next week, Wednesday.
Thank you for watching. You can now follow us on Facebook and subscribe our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and comment.